And welcome in to Titletown Trash Talk with Justin. And no, I am Justin, and with me is
Noah Tasman here. How's it going, everybody?
so we're gonna start off nice and simple, right? Titletown Trash Talk. Well, that's because we are from the two title towns in the U.S. I am from Chicago.
I am from the great one and only Boston, Massachusetts.
Ooh, it's debatable. Starting off quick, and we
Oh,
figured
oh, oh, oh.
we'd start this deal off with some pledges, right? Our pledge of allegiance. We are obviously big sports fans, and what better way to know our biases and where we're going to be coming from, our backgrounds, than to know exactly who we support. So I'll let my friend Noah here start off with his allegiances and where he lies.
I, Noah Tasman, pledge my allegiance to the New England Patriots, Boston Celtics, Boston Red Sox, and Boston Bruins.
Whew. A lot of Beantown in there. That's unfortunate. Uh, Being from Chicago, obviously I got to go Bulls. I got to go Blackhawks. I got to go Cubs. We'll ignore the fact that there's even a second team in Chicago for baseball because they're either going to end up in Nashville or forgot about. And then
Surprised they're not a
because
AAA team.
right, and then because the Bears have been the laughing stock of the NFL since about 1986, right about the time I was born, I'm a diehard Packers fan. So that's where I
Somehow,
deviate a little bit. Yeah, I deviate a little bit. It's okay. We have to have a little bit of rivalry in the world, and I'll take it.
bandwagon.
Ooh, that's rough. You didn't hop on the ship when Brady went down to the Bucks, did you?
No,
I
I
just
actually hated. I actually hated Brady for that. I,
kudos
I
to you.
was I was a very big Brady hater, and then I realized, how can I hate a man that pretty much fulfilled my childhood by bringing me so many championships?
This
So,
is this
love
is
the
true.
man.
This is
It's a
true.
love-hate relationship with Tom Brady in the New England region, to be honest.
So since we're on the whole Tom Brady front, I want to know: am I the only one that thinks that he should not have access to any clubhouse in the NFL, like period, regardless, because he's part owner of the Raiders? Like, am I wrong? Like, you shouldn't be in the clubhouses doing these interviews, or am I just, taking it too far?
I think the NFL just does not care at this point because he's just giving them money
Yeah, but
to be an owner.
I agree. So I get that side of it,
So they're
right?
gonna let him do what an owner does.
Yeah, but owners don't get to go into other teams' clubhouses. It's like the
I
cardinal
mean,
rule.
but it's the cardinal rule, but it's also Tom Brady. He's probably played against half of the guys that are in the other clubhouses.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. That's not the point. It's like the competitive
I
advantage that you get.
understand. I
I,
understand.
I don't know.
It's a
I
bit of a
have
weird
issues.
subject, but let's move on from this.
Well, oh, no, okay. One more thing that then goes with that. Do you think he's a good broadcaster? Because I don't.
I think he's all right. I think he needs a little more experience, a little more time in the booth. I'd say give him another year or two at least. See where he goes from there. Don't get me wrong. Your first year is always going to be a bit rocky, a bit shaky in the booth, as expected. I mean, you don't know what you're doing up there, pretty much.
I agree. I mean, Greg Olson and Tony Romo just vastly better than
Yes,
Brady.
but you also have to think about how much more time they have in the booth.
This is true. This is
So,
true. But
I'd say give him another year or two. If he still hasn't improved, then I'd say maybe the booth isn't for him.
see, I think he would be great at the desk, right? And you've got these guys retiring now that are at the desk. So, Tom, let's go down there. But that's neither here nor there. We're not
On
in
the desk,
football.
man. Oh boy. All right.
I mean, you don't think he'd be great for the desk work at the whatever Sunday
Like
show?
Fox.
Yeah, right.
I
Stick
mean,
him
yeah,
down.
I think he would be good there. Yeah, don't get me wrong, but I would also like to say give him another year in the booth.
Okay,
If it doesn't happen, send him to the desk.
okay. I'm good with that. All right, so let's mosey because that's that completely
Mosey
not a
on out.
yeah completely not a byproduct of what I wanted. I just the tangents are going to be real for these conversations
Hmm.
because our ADHD is also real. So it's mid sentence squirrel, and it's going to happen. Um,
Welcome to Titletown Trash Talk.
this is true. NHL lottery. I'm very disappointed. How dare
It
the
it
Islanders? Come on. Ugh.
can I also just mention the NHL lottery started what, about 30 minutes ago maybe? Not even?
I don't even know, dude. To be completely honest, I completely forgot it was on because I was prepping for this, and I was really
Well,
hoping. Like again, I'm a Hawks fan. Incredibly disappointing season. I was really hoping second,
I have some
second or
news for
first.
you.
No,
I believe second or first, I believe.
we're
Hold on now. Let me check here.
we're third.
I'm just checking. Yes, the Blackhawks do have the third pick. So
Yeah.
I do, as a Blackhawks fan, I really would not be shitting yourself too much.
No, I know it's not that.
Don't get me
It's
wrong. Who doesn't want the first pick? But at
yeah.
the same time, honestly, I'm gonna say it. Anywhere in a top 10 pick with any draft is a good pick nowadays.
Well, seeing as we're going into Bedard's third year, like it's time to crap or get off the pot, right? We can't like we're doing this kid a disservice. And the fact that we don't even have a real coach yet. Like Montgomery was fired from the Bruins and Davidson's like,
That is
nah, I'll
true.
pass. I'll pass. Nah, we'll just bring up the dude from AAA or the equivalent of AAA, the AHL from Rockford, and Sorensen will be fine. He's fine. You're kidding me, dude. Come on. Not cool.
The Bruins unfortunately took a little bit of a fall. Now we're at seventh,
Uh,
drafting seventh overall. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad thing, but our team needs a complete rebuild here. Uh, we have gotten rid of the vast majority of our pretty much glue in our roster the past season. Got rid of 1 to 2 head coaches. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done in that front office and that back office to figure out what needs to be done to the Bruins. Because it
yeah,
has been a horrible decline, and I mean a horrible decline over the past 5 to 7 years for that franchise. And
yeah.
Boston is not getting happy with it.
Well, you're right there with the Hawks now. Like the Hawks, they had those stupid Stan Bowman contracts, which were just, and I get it, right? Your Taves, your Kane, your Seabrook, your Keith. You have to be the trendsetters for the future generation,
Mhm.
right? So that those guys make their
Absolutely.
money. But man, the back end of those contracts, like we're still paying Marion Hossa. Well, we're not. Salt Lake City is still paying Marion Hossa for his, I don't know, like 3 mil a year or whatever it is. I think he's got like one more year, right? Like, oh, those contracts. Like you see it in baseball, right? Like these 10-year contracts. Like I'll use Kyle
Yep.
Tucker as an example. First off, sign the man. Second off, the back end of those deals are horrible. Look at Christian Yelich, right? Dude forgot
Mhm.
how to ball. So something's got to happen with these sports contracts. It's just they're ridiculous.
There is way too much money involved in these games currently,
So I was looking at just
in these major league sporting events.
I was looking at tickets, right? And this goes for like anything. You and I are both like we're big petrol heads, right? Like we love racing.
Absolutely.
I
Oh my
was I
God,
was
yeah.
looking at the prices of the F1 race down in Miami, and this is just like general admission. This isn't a seat anywhere. This isn't getting to like stand
Let
and
me
do
let me
like
guess. Let me guess. Let me guess. Just probably 2,000 at least.
it was $750 just for general admission. Okay.
That's ridiculous.
That's
Who's gonna pay
insane.
$700? Who is? I mean,
So I love the Chicago races that we've had. The downtown Chicago races for NASCAR have been an absolute hit. I think it's been phenomenal.
how
But
much are
though
those tickets?
last I saw was $175 general admission, and that was just for one of the days, right? And all that gets you is Grant Park. Like you can't actually walk around the track and do stuff, which we can't really do anyways because of the way it's set up. I understand that, but that's just getting the grass at Grant Park where they have TVs up and stuff, but you don't actually like see anything. So you're paying $150 just to have the experience of being there. I don't understand that. That's just yeah, it's
I feel
crazy.
like I feel like for the F1 admission, at least, you're probably granted a little more access than just I mean, you'll have the ability to walk around at least. I would assume. Obviously, there's some restricted areas, but paying you said $750 for a ticket for
Well,
general admission.
that's why. That's why.
There's definitely at least some room you can have work with and walk around with, I would say. And I saw the food prices there also were pretty crazy ridiculous.
I know. It's just
Um,
it's hard, man. It's hard to be a fan of anything nowadays. Like my
let me
local
see. Let me
dirt
see.
track just went up, and now it used to be $15 general admission. Now it's $25 general admission, and they got rid of kids fare. So like if you want to bring your kid, it's $25. Like I get it, but where their cost is going up, I'm not making any more money. So it's getting hard, man, to be a fan of anything. For I think 8 games. I don't remember what the pack was. 8 games for me to go to the Cubs and sit out in the bleachers was like $1,200. It's like insane.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah. Then
Eight
throw.
dollars for a Red Bull.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, eight
That's.
dollars for a Red Bull at F1 Miami. Hold on, let's take a look at this. Truffle fries, $23.
Whew.
That
Yeah.
is, they're charging you an arm and a leg for a ticket, and then they're charging you just about almost a leg for some food and beverages. It's ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. No. That's insane. I'm sorry. It's it's hard to be a fan, right? And I get it. A lot of it
It's
is.
expensive to be a fan.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Well, I mean, when Max Verstappen's making 35 million a year, and that's just the contract, right? And it's just, I get it, I understand, but it's hard for us average Joes. Like going to a football game now, damn near impossible. First off, the tickets are sold to major companies for
Yep.
their season ticket, whatever. And then they sell the games they don't want, but they sell them at a price anyways. So
Yep.
that's even harder. But we digress. The purpose of this one, other than what we were doing, man, we've had some really good game sevens this last week,
Holy cow.
especially in the NHL. Did you watch the highlights or even any of the game of Winnipeg and St. Louis? 1.6 seconds left in the third. Winnipeg ties it up. Unbelievable.
Wow. That is incredible. I unfortunately did not watch any of the highlights. I have just not been watching. As a Bruins fan, once the Bruins are out of the playoffs, are out of the playoff picture, and the regular season is over, I kind of just stopped paying attention till of hot. I stopped paying attention till I would say the finals or the Stanley Cup, pretty much.
See, I'm the
That,
same.
that's it. I'm sorry.
I'm the same way, but I just turn it off completely. I'm like, oh, the finals are on? Cool. I might, like, if there's nothing else on a Saturday or Sunday, which there always is because there's Cubs baseball or racing or something, or the fact that I have a
Absolutely.
5-year-old daughter, so I record that stuff and then watch it later, right? Like, I'll watch the highlights, which I did for that Winnipeg game. Unbelievable, right? The stadium is dead. And then with 2 minutes to go, they get within one and then in the final 2 seconds, you tie it up and then go to OT and win it in the second OT. Unbelievable.
That is incredible.
And the one that
That is
the one that hurts me, the one that hurts me, Mikko Rantanen in Dallas, the one guy I wanted to come to the Hawks in the offseason, and then Carolina trades him and he gets that contract. Ugh. A hat trick in the third period to put away the Avs. First off, thank you for putting away the Avs, but hard to
said,
watch.
thank you for putting away the ads. That is hard to watch. Wow, it looks like these. Wow, yeah. So it looks like Game Series 7 is tied.
As
Okay,
as Noah
three
watches them
three.
now, because why not? Let's
I'm
just
not
watch.
even watching them now. I'm just looking at what we have for the matches. So we have. It looks like round two: Panthers, Maple Leafs,
Mm-hmm.
Hurricanes, Capitals, Oilers, Golden Knights, Stars, and Jets.
By the way, kudos to the
Wow.
Maple Leafs and the Maple Leafs fans. Y'all can take the bags off your head. You finally advanced past the first round.
I was gonna say the Maple Leafs actually made it past round one. I
Mm-hmm.
will give them props. The Golden Knights, ever since they've become a franchise, have always just
Dude,
made it to the playoffs.
they do everything right. I don't get it. And in the salary cap era where like again, we're talking about the Hawks, and you got to set that trend. Like they're not giving out insane contracts, right? Like
No.
good on them for making all the right moves. It just
Hmm.
frustrates me because it's not my team.
The Oilers have a pretty good roster. The Capitals have always been a very established hockey club.
Dude, you
Um,
can never bet against the great one. Like
no,
OVA, like
no,
come
you
on.
really can't. Obviously, the Panthers.
Ugh.
I would have to say the rising. I would think if yeah, the rising NHL team with that Stanley Cup win. What was it? Last year, 2 years ago?
I think 2 or 3 years ago, because Havo
It was
Teravainen was
two.
a part of that group at
Hmm.
the
But
time.
they've been a good and scary team, especially in the playoffs. So that's very. They're playing the Maple Leafs team. I think that may be a thrashing for the Panthers right there.
Could be. It could be. We'll see.
That Hurricanes Capitals matchup is going to be very good. Stars and Jets is going to be good. I think the Oilers and Golden Knights. I think that's going to be the series that might have the most attention.
Yeah, you know what? Whenever you get McDavid involved, it's always fun to watch the Earlers. So
Uh-huh. And
we'll
against
see.
that Golden Knights roster as
Yeah,
well.
I might have to watch a game or two there. But again, the game sevens this weekend, unbelievable drama, fantastic to watch. So like if you're
I
looking
will have
for
to go back and
yeah, if you're looking for good stuff, at least go watch the highlights because the highlights, man, they put you in that moment and you can feel your heart start to pump up. Then we had some with basketball too, which again, Bulls lost their play in, right, to the Miami Heat, who then just went and got absolutely torched. So like I've been out of basketball now for a solid 2 weeks.
and
So
I have been paying attention to it. And let me tell you, as I have my Celtics pulled up off to the side here, they struggled a little bit in the first half. Had me a little bit worried. Playing home against the Knicks. The Knicks are one of their kryptonite teams, I have to say, especially when they go to that Madison Square Garden. But they're looking pretty good right now. Um, but let's talk about, first of all, I want to talk about this Nuggets Clippers game, first of all. This was an incredible game to watch. First of all, I did not think that Denver was going to lose at home. Denver is just not one of those teams. Kawhi Leonard, though, he had 33 minutes with 22 points. Really, I don't think he really did much for the Clippers. James Harden had 7 points and 13 assists in his 35 minutes played.
oof.
James Harden needed to step up and be that offensive player everybody knows him as, and he kind of just left Kawhi dry. He didn't really do anything, and I mean Jokic kind of just put the green light on. So did Aaron Gordon with 22 points and his 5 assists. Jokic had a double double though, so I will give that man some credit. But let's talk about Christian Braun though. He had 21 points against the Clippers team that was looking pretty strong here, but just really decided not to show up in Game 7. Unfortunately, I was hoping it would be a bit more of a matchup, but Nuggets kind of blew him out by 19 in a Game 7.
Ooh.
Ooh.
See, it's like,
Mm.
and your knock on Harden, like I feel like that's has been his knock ever since he was in OKC, right? Like the dude just
Yep.
disappears in crunch
Hmm.
time, right? The
Yep.
beard just disappears. He gone. He gone in the words of
He's
Hawk Harrelson. Like it's just
During the regular season, he's always an offensive threat, dropping 40 bombs with 15 assists and
mm-hmm,
5 rebounds.
mm-hmm.
Soon as it shows up to when it matters in the playoffs, he's nowhere to be found.
No, yeah, that's always an issue. And Kawhi, man, he's always around. The dude's legit. Like
Kawhi is amazing, but I just don't think at this point in his career he can put a team on his back like he did in Toronto. I think he needs another piece to help him out, like James Harden.
agreed, but James has to step up. Remember,
James
Kawhi
has
did
to step
put
up.
the Spurs on his back and got them
That too.
that ship. So like, it's been a minute, but he can do it.
Hmm. He can
So
do it. And then we're also going to talk about real quickly Warriors and Rockets. The Rockets managed to bring that to a Game 7 at home in Houston, and then decided to get blown out by almost 20.
yeah, well, dude, the Jimmy Butler effect, it's real in Golden State. And the weird thing is, the guy when he wants to play, like when he's invested in the team, And again, I'm speaking from experience. When he's invested, he's all in and he will play his butt
Yes,
off. But when
yes,
he's not, he just dogs it. And especially on defense, he's like, go by me. I don't care.
yeah. And I'm just gonna say here, Jimmy Butler, 45 minutes played. Draymond Green, 40 minutes played. Steph Curry, 46 minutes played. Brandon Podziemski, 40 minutes played.
Crazy.
All of them putting in numbers. Can we say Buddy Hield, 37 minutes played with 33 points?
You know what that is? You know what that is? That's Steve Kerr going back to the 90s and saying, this is how Jordan did it, right? We didn't let our bench play more than 5 or 6 minutes. Y'all got to get out there. You got to work your butts. Let's go, starters. And one other thing,
Oh,
unpopular
yep.
opinion, maybe, but in the LeBron era, Steph Curry is better. Steph Curry is the GOAT.
That I'm not gonna get to that, but I'm also gonna say this. I believe the Rockets only had 8 players listed on their roster last night. Or I mean, yeah, was that? I believe that was last night or Saturday night. They
Okay.
had 8 players listed on their roster. Fred VanVleet, 44 minutes. I will give him his props, but they
For,
were probably exhausted,
I
and they
mean,
played at home. I was hoping they would have a little more momentum from that home crowd, but like I said, almost a 20-point blowout.
it happens. It is what it is. You can't. Right, somebody's got to win. And when you've got a Steph Curry, and you've got a Jimmy, and when you got uh, PP puncher in the lineup, right? Like you got a chance.
Unfortunately, they have him in the lineup. So
Yeah,
we're looking at the conference semifinals now for the NBA. Pacers won their game one against Cavs last night. Knicks, Celtics, Nuggets, Thunder, and then the Warriors and Timberwolves will be the conference semifinals. It's looking pretty good. I think the Nuggets versus Thunder will probably be the most exciting matchup to watch. Star-studded lineup. Warriors and Timberwolves as well is going to be pretty good. All of these matchups are going to be really good. I'm hoping my Celtics take care of them next, though, in a
yeah.
four-game series.
So,
Four-game series.
as much as I want the Celtics to just have an abysmal end to their season, I can't root for anything New York. So please end it with them. I can't. New York got
Now
to
that
go
we have
bye
Drew
bye.
Holiday back, I think we have a pretty solid chance.
Dude, when you've got the likes of Brown and Tatum, y'all ain't got nothing to worry about. Like two legit superstars. Not only superstars, like
Mhm.
the best of the best at the current time.
Yes, that is true. Brown, Tatum right now, it's an iconic duo, and especially with Drew Holiday now there with him, Sixth Man of the Year, Peyton Pritchard, Derek White. The list goes on with that roster.
It does. It does. And somehow they always just keep finding rotational players, right? Like it's always somebody new that comes in. They figure it out and they make it work. So good on them. Again, kudos. Well run organization. They know what they're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's the only time I'm going to give the Celtics their due because
No, man, I'll take it. I'll take it. I
all
will
right.
say my Red Sox also sitting in second place in the American League East.
Yeah, but the AL East isn't like it's not
What do you
stacked.
mean?
It's not stacked. Okay, you
We
want a
have the
division.
Orioles,
You want a
the
division.
Jays.
You want a division that's stacked. Look at the NL West. Okay, every
Well,
team
yes, we
out
all
there
know
other
the NL
than
West.
the Double A Rockies are well over 500. Right, and the Dodgers are doing this. Screw the Dodgers. The Dodgers are doing
For the
this
Dodgers.
with like half of their starting rotation on IR. Right, they're like
IR.
IL, whatever, same difference. Okay,
No,
all this
yeah, no, they're all injured.
everybody's injured, right? And you still got Otani who's not pitching yet. He's only hitting, right?
Yep.
So and like they're like, Otani will pitch in who knows, June or July. I'm like, well, like that's almost like trading for a player. Like good on them, but still, I don't know. We'll see.
I
That division is
I know
stacked.
the NL West, yes, obviously will be the division to watch this year. There is no doubt about that. Um, can I just real quickly give some props to the Athletics, 19-6,
That's, I mean, yeah,
19-16.
in
19 and
then I was going to say
16.
19
I
and 16
apologize.
in
Oof,
a AAA stadium with a not AAA roster.
that is a true statement. Just glad to see having a little momentum for the team over there. The cheat Stros, I still just not a fan of them.
No, well, anything like south of Kankakee, no, can't be.
Yep.
So we'll
Braves
see.
are Braves are Braves are 3 games back from 500 right now.
Dude,
Kind of struggling right now.
the worst start. They were like what 2-12 or something. I don't remember, but they were horrible.
Yep. They did not have a start. I mean that NL East though is honestly a tough division. Honestly,
It really is. They've got a lot of talent out there, and now you're
Yep.
just waiting for the
But
Mets to start metting. You know,
I was gonna say the Mets are off to a hot start as always, and just give them about I would say till the summer, and they're gonna
yep,
start metting again.
yep. Something's gonna happen, right? Somebody's gonna get hurt. Juan Soto will go down. Polar Bear will go down. Something will happen
Yep.
where the Mets will implode. It's just
And then the Phillies are just gonna take that lead of the division and run away with
if
it.
the Phillies could get some starting pitching, like they would be
Hmm.
arguably a contender for the World Series. And you could say that about. Have you seen the Reds? The Reds are on
Yep.
fire.
The Reds
Again,
have been looking pretty good lately.
a team I had no qualms thinking like, oh, these guys are going to be legit. I thought NL Central, you got Cubs, Brewers. I thought Cardinals, then the Reds,
I thought
and
the Pirates would be a little bit better this year as well.
yeah, but oof, man, you're getting 12 people a game, and then chance of sell the team like in the first first inning. You guys aren't off to a good
Yeah,
start.
even though they have arguably, don't they have it? Isn't their pitcher what?
Paul
No,
Skeens,
their pitcher didn't. Yeah,
yes.
he won the Cy Young, or what was it?
See, rookie. I think he's rookie of the year on like number
Rookie
two
year. Oh,
for that's what that's why God gave us the Google
I,
machine.
that's why I didn't think it was a Cy Young. I was about to say
I
I'm
think it was
nuts if I'm thinking
rookie of the year. Again, that's why it's like
probably Rookie of the Year, but it was a
NL
pitcher that
rookie
won
of
it,
the
which is
year,
incredible.
All Star, and then he was
Yep.
the Dick Hauser Trophy Award winner in 13. So good on
Okay.
him for that. And then yes, he
Yep.
was in the top 5 for Cy Young, but you never win Cy Young if you're not on a winning team, unless you go like 30-0,
As a
which
rookie though, impressive.
dude was
Yeah, the
like 18
Pirates.
and 5 or whatever with like a sub 3.
Yep.
That's legit.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. I think MLB we're gonna have a stellar season this
Yeah,
year.
I can't wait for Paul Skeens in 5 years to see where he gets traded to, because that's what they do.
And pray to God, I pray to the baseball gods he does not get injured and anything happens to him because I want to see that. I want to see him in his prime.
I agree. I don't want to
I
see
want
Tommy
to.
John. No Tommy John, please.
I
Yeah,
think. I think he could be maybe arguably top 5, one of the best starting pitchers of all time.
could be right. Like Tariq
As
Skubal,
long as it's.
like
Hmm.
dude, when he hits free
Hmm.
agency at the end of this year, the dollar signs like dollar bills, y'all. That dude is gonna make some cash.
Oh yeah, the Red Sox actually unfortunately took a little bit of a hit a few nights ago. Tristan Casas went down. I believe he has a ACL injury or
Ooh,
something,
yeah. Shota
and that's
Imanaga
that's oh
just went down
your Cubs are
yesterday.
looking good.
They are, and we're doing it without pitching, or a bunch of guys that were like, "Hey, we're going to invite you to camp as a AAA invite or a non-roster invitee," and now they're like, Brad Keller is lighting it up. Ooh, that ump just took a second ball to the face. That sucks.
Got fully signed.
Yeah, make better
Um,
calls.
make better calls.
Yeah,
Well, that's very interesting.
for the ump. I mean, it's not Angel Hernandez back there, but it is what it is. Okay, are you ready for a left field question or a left field thought? And I'm
I'm
gonna.
very ready for it.
Okay, Kevin De Bruyne. You know who that is?
Absolutely, I'm a huge footy fan.
Okay. Move
He's
to
coming to the
MLS.
ML.
Move to the
Yes, I
MLS.
know. He wants to go to the Chicago Fire. Could be a potential, but
Yes.
obviously it's going to be the team that throws the most money at him, which is either going to be one of the LA teams or Miami.
Or Miami. See, that's the problem. And I hate the way that MLS has the rights and all their stupid little, you can only have 2 designated players, or you
But
can only
also,
have 3 international, or all that insane
hear
stuff.
me out. Hear me out, Justin. If you are a professional football player, footy player, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're coming towards the end of your career. Teams are throwing money at you. You have the opportunity to live in nice, sunny, warm South Florida, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you get to play with Messi.
Again, I'm not arguing the point. I'm arguing the discovery point. Like the
Well, yes,
only
obviously,
this
but
only
that's
these
how
teams can bid on him because of the way MLS structures their stuff. That's what I'm
that's
arguing.
what that's unfortunately how footy has been for the past God knows how long. Teams
Forever.
with the most money are obviously going to get the best players
Yeah, but
because they
that's
can afford them.
that's not what I'm talking about. In MLS, right,
What do
you
you mean?
have the discovery. In MLS, there is a rule for discovery of players and for transfer of players that are not American. You have
Yeah,
designated spots. You have international spots and you have designated player spots, right? International spots are set for youth players, and the designated players are for anybody, right? That's not American.
yeah,
What they're trying to do is grow the sport in America. The problem is, if you want to grow the sport in America, you got to be able to
you have
bring
to
in
have
talent that's not
from
necessarily
America.
American, right? There are every country has a league. Heck, if you go to like Poland and Germany
Yes, they have a
and
Polish
England
league.
and all of them, they have 5 or 6 different leagues, and they all
Absolutely,
pay extremely well. So the
not
whole,
extremely well,
well, they pay better than
but
like the USL.
the first league normally that obviously the top tier leagues in each country pay well. It genuinely depends on where you're living.
It does.
Um, League Two normally it depends on which country you're living in. Once again, you're making decent money if you're in for example, Germany, England, France. You'll make
Italy,
decent money in League Two.
Italy,
Italy,
Italy. After
League
that, I'd say,
Three, League Three. You're not. You're. I mean, you'll obviously make enough to support yourself year round by playing footy. But after that, I mean, you're gonna need a second job.
yeah, I'm not disagreeing on that front. My problem
Yeah,
is like the discovery rights stuff, and like, so
yeah. I mean, it's weird how the MLS does it.
yeah, it limits the
What,
ability
does
of
the Chicago
teams.
Fire have no spots open?
Yeah,
Or
we have one spot open where we could designate a player out, and then we would have room for a DP. The problem is that the Fire are notorious for like, oh, this guy's worth, let's say Manchester City's asking for 15 million, right? This was the problem why it took so long for us to get, um, uh, God, who the heck was it that we brought in from Europe after Basti? Why am I blanking on his name? I can see the X and I can't see the rest. Anyways, we
Avi?
offered we offered Basel. He was on FC Basel. We offered them 15% less than what their asking price was. And they said no. And he's like, well, I'll just sit the season out because they were just going to bench him, but he was still under contract. Right. So
Hmm.
that's the problem with the Fire. They love to lowball teams. And if you do that with Kevin De Bruyne, if you go in 5% under what Manchester City is asking, they're going to say no. They're going to shut you down. And then they're going to go to Miami and say, what will you give us? And it's over.
Miami will say 50.
Yeah, I don't know
Well,
what
not 50, but
I don't know what they'll say because it's capped again. And there's another problem. So like in MLS, the team doesn't get all that money. So like when we ship a player out, MLS takes a portion of that. Right?
yep.
I don't remember what the exact number is, but right, so the higher the transfer fee out, the more the MLS takes. And they even have like um weird other quirks that just it irks me.
American footy unfortunately irks me. My
Yes.
team also sucks that I support.
Well, who do you support?
The New England Revolution.
That's yes, that is an unfortunate happenstance for you. You guys have you ever been to like a final or won
Yes, yes,
Shield or
yes.
anything?
We've been to a final. We've been to
Okay.
multiple finals.
Okay.
I told you about the Revolution game I went to last year, right?
No, please divulge.
Uh, so you know what the CONCACAF is? The CONCACAF,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So they played in the CONCACAF. It was the first round leg, right home in New England. You know who we played? Club
Hmm.
America.
7-0 incoming.
Nope, it was like 4-5 to 1. Anyways, we're at the stadium, right? There's about 12,500 fans there, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many people are rooting for the Revolution?
Like one.
Probably say about 1,000.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because
The rest of that stadium was wearing yellow. It was an unfortunate time for the Revolution.
I
It was
mean,
raining too.
it's like
They were
club.
getting screamed at. Oh boy, it was a great experience though. Let me
But
tell you, it was
dude,
fucking amazing.
Club America travels, so you can't, right?
Yes,
Like,
yes. They also have a lot more fans compared to the
yeah,
Revolution.
yes, yes.
They
I
have
mean,
millions upon millions upon millions of fans.
yes. When you say Club America, that's like saying Bayern Munich. That's like saying, Manchester City, Manchester United,
For
right? Like
for
you
yep,
just,
for the Americas.
yeah,
Yep,
right?
you know. You know that's one of the largest teams in the American regions. Yeah, you
Hmm.
know. It was a great time though, I will say.
That's good.
We were surrounded by Club America fans, but it was amazing.
I could see it. I could see it. That's that's how it is for us. Except we can never get to the CONCACAF anything because we always get our butts handed to us beforehand, so we never get to a shield. I mean, we haven't been relevant since God before Bastion. I feel so bad. It's hard. I need to wear a paper
You,
bag in shame. It's so bad.
you know what else was finally relevant this weekend?
Hmm.
The F1.
You know what? I'm
The
glad.
F1 actually the F1 actually had an amazing race this weekend, finally.
Can
In
I just
Miami, of course.
can I just say how great it is to see McLaren kicking butt again and how quickly they've done it. Remember like 2 years ago when they were battling Williams to be the last team on the grid? Like Haas was better than them, which is embarrassing. So kudos to Zach Brown for figuring all that out. And also, Oscar Piastri is incredibly better than I thought he would be. Like I was expecting good. I was not expecting better than Lando good.
As an F1 fan, I will say it was nice to see a great race. As a Max Verstappen fan, I will say, God damn it, that Red Bull performed
It's
like
well,
shit.
I mean, Adrian Newey isn't
Unfortunately,
there anymore, man, and you've
nope.
you've
And
got.
Max did as well. And Max honestly did as well as he could to give uh give McLaren a run for their money.
I agree. I absolutely.
It was an amazing race, and I will say McLaren pulled it off once again. McLaren, I think, just has that magic in Miami. There's McLaren magic in Miami.
I mean,
It's the triple M.
McLaren. So we're a quarter of the way through the F1 season now. McLaren should, and this is, barring
At,
upgrades, which there isn't much more that these
at
teams
the
can
rate they're
do.
going,
Yeah, but at the rate
they
they're
should
going,
win
they should
the
win
constructors.
constructor, and it should be a battle between Lando and Oscar to be the driver champion.
And I kind of genuinely hope I see Oscar win because that would be insane to see him win.
It would be a slap in the face to
As
Lando.
much as much as I love Lando and his personality, I think it would be more incredible to see Oscar Piastri win.
See, that's my
He's
problem with
already
Lando.
he's already at he's already on the rate to do it with the driving performances he's had. He's an incredible driver. And like you said, Zach Brown, they figured it out over there at the McLaren workshop.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Oscar's that talent he has, it's incredible. I think he's better than Lando. He might be better than
Oh,
Lando.
I think he is better than Lando. Like I was talking to somebody else about this earlier, saying like how surprised I was that like I thought it was going to be a 1A 1B kind of thing. It's not. Oscar is
No,
hands down a better driver, and it's because he has that it factor. He has that Max Verstappen. I don't give a crap
yep.
about you. Like Lando's too nice. Lando's like, I want to be friends with
Mhm.
everybody. This is
He's
amazing,
kind of like Danny Rick. Yeah,
it was cool when he was with Danny Rick because you could just see them both with those big,
it
grins
was a
on their
vibe.
face,
It was
right?
it was
Like the
it was
vibe.
a very good vibe. Yeah,
But they sucked because like
unfortunately,
they didn't
they
have
didn't have
anybody
the
that was
they
doing the
didn't have
R
the
and D.
aggressiveness.
Yeah.
They didn't have any aggressiveness also in the car.
This is true. And that's the problem now that like Red Bull has, right? You've got one driver, they built the car specific for Max. And you could see that the entire time that Sergio Perez was in that car. He could never figure it out because it wasn't built for him.
But here's the problem with the Red Bull car. It fucking sucks even for Max,
All
unfortunately.
right, now it does absolutely. I mean, you put
And it
in
did at the beginning of the season
think
too.
about this. If you put Max in the McLaren, he'd probably be 2 to 3 tenths faster than everybody else. Just
Yeah,
because
Max is naturally just the quickest driver on the field.
it's amazing how he finds speed, and he finds it everywhere.
Yep. But his car is just so awful
Yeah,
this
the
year,
car's bad,
unfortunately.
and
He can't compete.
they didn't, they didn't do him any favors.
No,
We're gonna bring in Liam Lawson, and then we're gonna can Liam Lawson after 2 races. We're gonna bring up Yuki,
for
and
no good reason.
it should have been Yuki's spot to start with, or you just stick it
Yep.
out with Liam and say, okay, we got what we got, right? And now Liam is outperforming Yuki in the RB.
Yep.
So
Which is not surprising, honestly, because I feel like that Visa Cash App RB or whatever their team name probably has a little bit more of a stable car than the Red Bull itself.
I agree. I agree.
I will say though, great job. It was the Ferrari. Can we talk about Ferrari real quickly? Did you watch the full race, Justin?
Full race, and it was
He,
fantastic because Lewis Hamilton telling the team, "Would you like some? Are you guys all having tea? Would you like me to let
yep.
Carlos Sainz by? Thank you."
Lewis Hamilton having just some absolute beef with his radio engineer. It was incredible. Just the breakdown. We're not even halfway through the season, and it sounds like the Ferrari team is already ready to rip each other apart. At least,
Because they are. If there's one thing that Ferrari is really good at, it's screwing up strategy, and they were notorious for it year in and year out. And that's why the last 2 years, Carlos Sainz was like, "Screw you! If I'm in the lead, I'm not doing driver swaps just to help Charles Leclerc's ego." They got
yep.
rid of the wrong
And
driver. They should have kept Sainz and got rid of Leclerc.
Sainz, I think, was the better driver.
I agree.
For sure.
But he didn't bring in the funds like Leclerc did. Leclerc's got that
No,
Monaco money rolling in.
he's got that Monaco money. He's also he's the what Ferrari wants their F1 driver to look like, not to be
That guy. But to be that guy, I get it.
Yeah, the Ferrari has a specific type.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
I mean, come on. He had Rubens Barrichello in there. Come on now. It's not
Yeah,
always.
no, that's true, but I mean, they had the opportunity for Lewis, and obviously Ferrari wants the biggest names.
Look, I hate Lewis Hamilton with the utmost passion. The day that he blacked out at Spa when he hit the wall going up the hill was one of the happiest days of my life. And I don't mean that because I want him to be hurt or injured. I don't mean that because I want him to be hurt or injured. I mean that because it's like, hey, finally, something bad happened to this guy when everything good happens, right? I was sad that he blacked out. I didn't feel right. Like, I'm like, good, he's out, right? Like anytime Kyle Busch rocks, like anytime KBA can go, it's like, yay, happy days. Or Denny Hamlin for that matter in NASCAR, like, yay. That's how I felt when Lewis did that. Watching him try to build Ferrari to be like Mercedes is really entertaining to watch. And I hope he leaves before they get good. Because I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that dominance again. That 7-year stretch of Mercedes, like Lewis Hamilton first, Valtteri Bottas second. Lewis Hamilton first, Valtteri Bottas second. Lewis Hamilton third, Valtteri Bottas wins. Like I just and everybody complaining. It's the same thing with Max Verstappen. No, it's not. Not even close.
Because it would just be Max winning, and it wouldn't be Checo second.
No, and it was entertaining to watch Max win because he had to drive the nuts literally off of that car or drive over Lewis Hamilton's head like he had to do in Italy.
I was about to say, yeah, half the time, not half the time, a third of the time he wouldn't start from pole.
Yeah, right. He was winning races from 7th, 8th, 6th, right? What was it in Turkey where he had that incredible, like he's missing half of his side pod? He's like, I'm good.
Yep.
Finishes 7th. Yeah. I mean, again, kudos. Mad respect for arguably the best driver on the grid. And I'm not taking any away from Lewis. but Lewis was handed the golden apple. Max had to take it. My opinion. Probably, unpopular opinion, but
Very
Lewis was
unpopular
handed it.
opinion, but I'm not gonna
Nico
deny
Rosberg had to
deny it.
steal his championship from Lewis, right? That's why Nico was like
Yep.
showing the door. He's like, okay, I retire now. They're like, no, you got fired.
They're
You,
like, no, you got fired.
yeah,
No, I
you,
retired.
yeah, you pissed off Toto, and he's like, go away, go away, little man, go away, go make your beer commercials.
Nico said, okay.
Yeah, he's like, fine, I'll go work F1 with Marty Brundle and make $5 million a year and do half the races. Done. I do that too.
Sounds
Heck
like
yeah.
a good job to me. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds amazing. Heck, sign me up to be a bench, like the dude that holds the dummy at like the NFL camps, right? I don't care. Run my butt over. Anything that gets me out of my
Yeah,
9 to 5.
making decent money doing that. Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Dude, I think of like the NIL offers for like college and been like, the last guy on the bench is getting something. Sign me up.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not a lot, but hey, I'll take that $1,000 a
Well,
month or whatever it is.
depends what team you're on, I would think.
True. I do. I to be honest, I know nothing about NIL other than, in my opinion, it has somewhat ruined the sport. But that's neither here nor
That is
there.
true. You know what's I'm gonna talk about that's gonna ruin your night?
Hmm.
This NASCAR race that happened yesterday.
I hate
And
Joey
my
Logano.
boy,
I hate
that
Joey
number
Logano.
22,
I hate
Joey
Joey
Logano.
Logano. I hate
First of
Penske.
all, I don't know how he won that race, but he
He
won that thing.
backed into another one just like every other freaking win. Hate that guy. At least I've never gone to a race and actually seen him win in person. So like, I'm
But
happy with that.
Logano got a win. It was a fucking wild one once again at Texas. Everything under the sun and moon happened. Rex,
I wanted McDowell to walk away with that. And I think if he hadn't tried to run Logano to the wall and he just side drafted him into 3, he would have been fine. But he had to do that nonsense. And then wrecked it out afterwards, anyways. And what the heck happened to Kyle Larson there the last like 15 laps? Dude had a rocket ship, and then all of a sudden the car's like, nope, I'm tight, I stop.
yeah, that thing just fell off. Really,
Yeah.
he said it got tight, and when that thing got tight,
Yeah,
because
like,
he did not drive it for those final 15 laps.
no. I'll give Logano kudos. He won. He's a fraud champion twice. Should only have one real championship, but that's a me thing. I'm not a Penske fan. I'm definitely not a Logano fan. I love Ryan Blaney. I hope when Alex Bowman gets tossed to the wolves, that Hendrick is like, "Come on over, Mr. Blaney. Come, please. You and Chase were best friends growing up. Let's do this again here." But
I don't think
alas, no,
Blaney's
it's
gonna
gonna be.
leave Penske,
Yeah, I don't either. It's gonna be Raja Karuth or somebody that comes up. Not that that's a
and
bad thing.
I don't think Cindric has that much longer with Penske either. As well. Well, actually, no, I lied.
He's got to win. He backed into it, but he's got to win.
Best say he won at Dega. I should.
Yeah. My problem with Cindric
But then again,
is he's like Denny
his
Hamlin.
daddy ain't with Penske no more.
No, that's true.
So once he does something stupid, or if he doesn't win, yeah, I have a feeling he's gonna get the boot.
My thing is, it costs so much now for these teams to operate. How long can you keep the
I mean,
charter going?
Penske. I don't think Penske's worried about that.
Well, no, but Penske has to worry about Indy. He's got to worry about the Indy track, right? Like, it's because of Penske that we ran that stupid road course for 3 years in NASCAR instead of the oval. Because
But he has money.
Yeah,
He has money.
but we all know that when you have money, you want more money, right? Like
That is true.
That's why the economy is the way it is. That's why everything is the way it is. Because once people have money, they want more money, and the teams aren't any different, right? Like, again, going back to F1, like, I'm so happy to see an 11th team with Cadillac coming in, but it was always blocked because the teams would have to give up a portion of their winnings, right? That 7th place or 6th place, 50 million that you're getting, well, that's going to become 37 or 40 million, right? Like, that's a big hit. So
that is a big hit.
It's hard with
big hit like Josh Berry took yesterday.
Oh yeah. See, another guy. I am so happy to see him in that 21 and have success. Good on Josh Berry.
Good for the Wood brothers too.
Agree. I loved seeing the Wood brothers and have success. Trevor Bain, right? Like the Daytona win, that first one.
Yep.
It's always fun to watch that happen, and for some reason, it always seems to be in a Wood brothers car.
That what happened to Trevor Bain.
Out of racing now. I mean, that's what happens when you don't bring in the funds.
Well, wasn't it doesn't he have what I'm trying to think, isn't it Trevor Bain that has
That has.
No, I'm trying to think something. Hold on.
Well, God gave you the Google machine. You should use it.
No, it might be another Bain.
There are no other Bains in NASCAR. Are there? Let's go to
Yes.
the old Google machine and see where good old Trevor Bain is. Trevor Bain is a announcer. He is semi-retired and he does announcing and business work and will be the pit reporter for Prime Video next year. He will be working with Dale Jr. Because remember, Dale signed the Prime deal after NBC gave him his walking papers, which made absolutely no sense. Anyways, we're going to wrap up this first
Yes.
episode of Titletown Trash Talk. Noah, always a pleasure. I can't wait to come back next week and argue with you some more.
Yes. We appreciate you listening. We hope you all have a great night. If you do have any more suggestions or anything, feel free to message us if you do have our contact info. Other than that, you guys have a great night.
Agreed. Take care, everybody. We will see ya.